what are the possible consequences or negative impacts of cultural appropriation and plagiarism on the artisans communities associated with the alebrije art?
I believe that there is two main consequences. The first one is that the real meaning of the cultural alebrije is being lost because it's just being copied by many other companies without telling that it's from Oaxaca and its history and importance. And at the same time, as they use it, they are taking life's work of people of Oaxaca, which they've been dedicated their whole life to make them, to understand them, and to promote them in Oaxaca.
The dissemination proposal consists of three phases. The first phase is the education and awareness phase. So in this first phase of implementation, there will be a focus on increasing awareness to both artists and consumers about plagiarism and cultural appropriation in the world of the alebrije craftsmanship. This can be achieved through the following methods. The first one would be workshops and seminars. In this, we will bring in experts about the subject matter, which would be alebrijes and Mexican folk art, in order to provide a viable and trustworthy information about the cultural importance and cultural symbolism of alebrijes. They will be able to further explain the importance of these cultural objects to the community as a whole, and we will be able to have a deeper understanding of respecting and responsibly representing the fundamental aspects of our cultural heritage, like alebrijes are. The second one would be through educational materials. So we would have to work with the Secretary of Public Education to develop educational material that we will work to implement into elementary and secondary education, and we'll explain it in an easy to understand manner to the upcoming generations the cultural importance and significance of alebrijes, and we will provide them guidelines in order for them to avoid cultural appropriation. So these will be made in order to train these young minds to respect cultural heritage and to pave their way to become integral members of society and of their culture. So the last one would be social media campaigning, using media to spread awareness about cultural appropriation and plagiarism and promote practices of cultural appreciation instead of appropriation. We will be sharing brochures, infographics, stories, interviews, and overall educational content related to alebrijes, and in order to encourage followers to engage in respectful practices that support our local artisans. The second of three phases would be the collaboration and artisan empowerment phase. So we will be focused on this phase on fostering a respectful relationship between the artists and the artisans and the communities as a whole. We'll be emphasizing a culture of collaboration and active empowerment for their cultural heritage. So through artistic collaborations, we will be able to encourage artistic relationships between artisans, designers, and alebrijes craftsmen. We will be facilitating work environments in which we can ensure that the creative process involves mutual respect, understanding, and acknowledgement of different perspectives. This could take form by performing joint exhibitions with different artisans, designers, and more specific alebrijes craftsmen. We can also do joint art projects and participating in community-based initiatives. So through this artisan empowerment, we can support initiatives that actively help some of the most detrimental issues in the craftsman communities by actively looking to provide them for fair wages, not only for them, but for their families that they are supporting, access to resources in order to keep on building their abilities and to be able to do them fairly, and opportunities for commercialization in order for them to have an economic growth out of this incredible activity and additional skill development. So by establishing platforms for artists to showcase and sell their worth, we can directly reduce their dependence on intermediaries that undervalue their work. The third and final phase of this dissemination proposal consists of a proposal for responsible consumption and promotion. So in this phase, we will be focused on promoting our responsible consumption practices and creating values that promote respect from our cultural heritage that is so important as our alebrije expressions. So this can be achieved by implementing ethical guidelines that are set to guide artists, designers, and merchants that they should follow when they're deciding to work with alebrije type art. So these guidelines will be sent to emphasize cultural sensitivity, fair commerce practices, and protection of intellectual property. The second and last proposal would be one of establishing certification systems. So by establishing the certification process, customers could easily identify which alebrijes are authentic and allow them to economically support the right entities, the right craftsmen. In this process, the fabrication of certification labels that authenticate the origin of cultural heritage items like alebrijes will be crucial. So I believe that this project is able to strengthen local and national culture. This is done by educating about cultural significance of alebrije art, which enables collaborations and promotes responsible consumption. Through the spread of knowledge about alebrije symbolism and craftsmanship, we're able to present cultural traditions that have been going on from generations and that share deep personal stories to the individual craftsman that makes each alebrije. Community initiatives like the one proposed can empower artisans to reinforce our cultural values as Mexicans. Through the application of ethical guidelines and certification systems, the integrity of alebrije art is actively protected, which in return ensures fair compensation for artisans and their respective families. This project strengthens and reproduces local and national identity by promoting the cultural heritage embedded in alebrije art. By actively educating individuals about the cultural significance of alebrijes, this fosters a sense of pride and appreciation for our unique Mexican art form and our unique Mexican culture, reinforcing a shared identity within which we can possibly identify ourselves within. This project also encourages participation and appreciation by highlighting the rich cultural heritage that is associated with the alebrijes. Additionally, by enabling educational resources and workshops in order to help further recognize this often pushed aside cultural expression as a whole, we will get deeper understanding of the historical and cultural significance that are alebrijes to us as Mexicans, connecting locals and visitors alike to the heritage that is held within these artworks. Through the preservation and promotion of heritage, we can ensure to build appreciation of a fundamental aspect of our cultural identity, emphasizing the cultural significance of alebrije art. This inspires a sense of duty and commitment to the conservation and celebration of the cherished cultural practice that are alebrijes.